Kanto. Johto. Our first looks into the Pokemon world. And as many have discovered, there's more to it than meets the eye.
Pokemon Masters, Birdkeeper Toby here, and have you ever heard of the Kanto War Theory?
Dating back to the turn of the millennium, we knew that something was off. This is Birdkeeper Toby, a Pokemon master that one would call an expert on Kanto-Johto history and relations.
Oh yeah, I've been around for a while. I even battled the champion Gold back in the day. Got all my gym badges from both Kanto and Johto. This is the Viridian City gym badge, of course, and yeah, as I've traveled, I've begun to realize that maybe there's some hidden history being kept from us.
Toby speaks, of course, of the Kanto War conspiracy. There are many believers in this conspiracy, which states that just before our adventures in Pokemon Red and Blue, there was a violent war between Kanto and its neighboring region, Johto. And for some reason, this history is being withheld from the newest generation of children. But when you look closely, the evidence is everywhere. Let's start with the basics.
Government-funded children going on adventures with creatures who have superpowers? I mean, come on. I mean, heck, the whole economy is based around it. You beat someone in battle, you get given money. Heck, a potion, a Pokeball, miracles of technology, they cost as much as a bottle of water. Filtered water! Everything hinges around Pokemon battling.
Toby speaks of something true here. Professors of each region are given especially powerful Pokemon to give out to young trainers they see as having a high potential for strength. These Pokemon are incredibly rare, and when trained properly are some of the most powerful in the regions. And all of these government subsidies on Pokemon healthcare, potions, and Pokeballs is more evidence to it promoting Pokemon combat training.
And you know those bigwigs up at Silph, they're in on it. And don't even get me started on the gym leaders, especially that Vermilion City one. He really slipped up. I remember he told me that his electric Pokemon saved him during the war. What war? Duh. Look, I'm not one for Pokemon conspiracy theories, but there's a cover-up here.
A cover-up we're about to unveil. This quote from an apparently gloating war hero has been heard by many trainers. Of which war does he speak? It would have to have been recent, as Lieutenant Surge isn't exactly an older man.
And speaking of middle-aged men, where are they?
Throughout the land of Kanto, we find a lack of fit adult males. And even in the adventures of Red, Blue, and Gold, we find that they are all fatherless. Most of the men in the region seem to be missing. The few men we do have are either aged beyond that of a suitable soldier, or are not men at all, but boys.
I mean, you can really see it in the workforce. Just look at our health service or police officers. There are male police officers, likely retired ex-soldiers, but there is an overabundance of Officer Jennies and Nurse Joys. Not that I'm complaining, of course. But the thing is, that's very typical of wartime mentality. The men go off to fight, while the women stay at home and pull their part, do their bit for the good fight.
And even after a war ends, it takes time to recover. Many men die in war, and the population ratio often takes generations to return to normal. But the ratio of the sexes is not the only thing to recover. Individuals often have to recover themselves. Try to fit back into everyday, peaceful society. For some, this proves difficult, and many find no other place to turn but to organized crime.
Some of the gym leaders are definitely covering something up. Team Rocket's numbers have been on the rise, and I know for a fact that the Viridian City gym leader at least is in on it. Organized crime is always on the rise after a war, and it's not a surprise. People have nothing. They have nowhere else left to go. Man, it's not even like a war would be untypical. I mean, this isn't the only war that the Pokemon world's ever seen.
The Pokemon world is no stranger to war, and war always has its victims. But not just the men on the front lines, but especially so, the Pokemon, used as weapons themselves. But on that topic, what of the Pokemon now? How have they fared and recovered?
I mean, I haven't seen a Pichu in years. I was told when I went on my adventure that there would be over 150 species of Pokemon, and there was about 150 in Kanto, but there should have been way more. Blossom, Tangrowth, Pichu, where were they? All of these Pokemon that should thrive in Kanto are gone because their environments have been destroyed by warring people.
It's true that the homes of many Pokemon have been destroyed as the results of wars in the past. Around 100 years ago, the Sacred Tower in Johto, now known as the Brass Tower, was burnt down in a time of constant warring. Whether this is the same war or not, it's hard to say. But there are those alive today who claim to remember the event. It is also to be noted that in more recent years, some Pokemon have managed to make a return to the regions, such as the Dark Pokemon, which are primarily used by the forces of Johto. And now they are returning to the Kanto grasslands at a rapid pace, despite being originally native to Johto. They are still so rare in Johto that they might as well not even be there. However, just over the mountains to Kanto, you can find them in large quantities. And the same goes for other Dark-type Pokemon. Murkrows have also been seen mingling more in Kanto than in Johto as of late.
The environments of Kanto have just been absolutely ravaged by human wars and technology and engineering and just human interference in general. I remember I was trying to get into Saffron City, right? Big metropolis city here in the Kanto region, and I was told that I had to use the underground tunnels to go around. Why do we even have underground tunnels? All these cities are so closely connected together.
There are tunnels connecting the Saffron, Celadon, Cerulean, and Vermilion cities, as well as a natural tunnel known as Diglett's Cave that leads underground to Pewter City. It is very possible that these were originally designed as evacuation tunnels, should one of the region's larger population centers come under attack. No other region has a system of underground networks like this. Furthermore, the cycling road is a movable bridge that can open and close. Likely, this was created to either stop forces traveling over it at will, or more likely, to stop ships getting too close to the docks of Vermilion.
Okay, let's say you've got a war going on between the regions of Kanto and Johto. It has to be a sea thing. These mountains are impassable. That's where some of the strongest Pokemon of both regions exist. That's where the League is now. And I mean, there are a lot of natural defenses. I mean, Cinnabar Island, the Whirl Islands, it's going to make boat battles difficult. So I guess if there is a war, it's happening on small scales or overseas. Cianwood City probably got attacked. I mean, that makes sense. It's pretty defenseless, and also it doesn't even have a Pokemon Center. I mean, have you ever wondered why? But I guarantee that the difficulty of the terrain to cross between the two regions means that wars definitely happened underground, and it's not surprising. If you had to ask me, it was probably Kanto who won that war, though. I mean, you don't find any evolutionary stones in Johto, and evolution is how you guarantee to win a war with Pokemon. Either way, I promise you, there was a secret underground war between the Kanto and Johto regions. Makes perfect sense.
There now stands the Indigo League. Just a few years ago, the borders of these two regions remained firmly closed, and now they've done something no other two regions have done before. They share a Pokemon League. The Magnet Train has begun construction, and you can now catch ferries between Olivine and Vermilion. It seems more than likely that if a war between the two regions ever did exist, there is now peace, and any conflict has been long since resolved. Still, the mystery of the secret war continues. If wartime is over, then why does the government still fund trainers to go on journeys and train teams of immensely powerful Pokemon? And if it is now peacetime, then why have the fathers of many of these young trainers not returned home? Perhaps the conflict between these two regions is over, or perhaps two regions united is a more frightening force to be reckoned with within a bigger war to come.